Wait, what?
Okay.
This is on your
My
father's side.
father's side.
Yeah.
It was Druyer. Druyer.
That was your father's father.
Yeah. And my grandfather and his brother were escaping the conscription.
Right.
Okay?
You know what that is, Jim? They would, in Tsarist Russia, they just pick you up off the street and put you in the army.
Yeah.
Even if you're a kid.
So they came over to the United States. And
Well, once they got you,
Wait, so you said they came on a false passport?
false passport.
Whose passport? Do you know?
No. And
Right.
and one of the names was Sarlson. So that's how
On the
we
passport,
became,
on the false passport.
Yeah, that's how we became Suttleson. And his brother's last name was Dunne, D-U-N-N-E. And
Irish. It sounds Irish.
and that's how they came over. And it was about the time that my father was born. He might have been born in Russia, but they came over in about 1903. And they were escaping the conscription. And that's how we began.
Right.
And I think when my father went to school, because at the time his last name was Sarlson, and the teacher couldn't spell it, so it became Suttleson.
And your father's father, they were Orthodox, right? And your father wanted nothing to do with it?
No, they weren't really Orthodox.
But I thought your father...
My grandmother kept kosher.
Right.
Okay. And she would call in the morning and call my mother and say, "So what'd you have for breakfast?" And she would say, "Fish, Ma, fish." And we had bacon. It was...
But I thought your father was just, he wanted nothing to do with...
Okay, what happened was when he was about 4 years old, they sent him to Cheder, which is the Jewish school.
So that was your father's mother?
Yeah.
Sent him.
And he went there from the time he was 4 years old until he was being bar mitzvahed.
Uh-huh.
And my grandmother gave him money for his bar mitzvah to go out and get a haircut. And he shaved his head. And after that, I mean, he just really disowned the religion. He really did.
And how did your grandmother react to that?
Well, he never told her.
Oh, he never told
I
her.
mean, we would go out on Yom Kippur, and we would go to the temple, and we would say hello to them, and then he'd take us out for the biggest lunch he could find.
Pork?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was your grandmother's name?
My grandmother's name was Dora.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And your grandfather, Nathan?
Nathan.
And was he religious? As religious as your grandmother?
No, he'd go behind the garage and smoke
Yeah.
weed.
2 packs a day.
No.
2 packs a day, and he lived to be 100.
Just about. No.
And they came to L.A.?
Yeah, eventually they came to LA, but we were in Ohio. We were in Akron, Ohio, and my grandmother had
How did they end up in Akron?
a grocery store.
Through Ellis Island or something first.
Yeah.
She had a grocery store, and you'd walk in there, and my grandmother stood about this high, but she was heavy. And
Kind of like
that's a
Gincana.
bad
Yeah, you're getting heavy.
what? And
You're getting, that's what they're starting to say.
on one side of the doorway was a big barrel filled with pickles, and the other side, I think she had pickled herring. And one time, and I was telling you, she was about 4'11", and she weighed.
You're
She was
4'11".
heavy.
Yeah.
and a mouse came by. Or she pole vaulted the
Were you there when she did that?
no,
Oh.
no.
What'd your grandfather do? What did Nathan do?
He smoked.
But did he work?
I really don't know what he did. He had a truck, and on the weekend he'd pick all the grandchildren up who lived in in Akron, and he'd take us for a ride in his truck. And one time, my cousin and I had a cold, so he kept us in the cabin of the truck, and he would find all the potholes in the street, and the kids would go bouncing around, and my cousin and I, we bounced up and we hit the roof of the cab, and we made a hole in there.
In the hole in the
Yeah,
cloth?
the top of the cab. So we had a lot of fun. We did. But
Lloyd's grandfather had the same path to the U.S.
same path.
Yeah, in that he was conscripted.
He was conscripted also.
Yeah,
As a boy, he was only like 13.
Did he come over on a false passport?
his
He came over
brothers
on his older brother's passport.
Oh.
And he changed his name.
and his older brother, you said, never made it
Never
out.
made it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He's one of.
So you
13.
still have your original last name?
No. It got, let's see. No. And it's a complicated story.
Okay,
but-
what's your last name
Well,
now?
it was on my mother's side, so it's Silverstein. So, when she got married, she lost her maiden name, kind of thing. But when, I'm trying to remember exactly how it got changed, but when he left, he took his older brother's passport. His older brother was Herschel, and somehow when they came through,
Ellis Island?
yeah, they made his last name Hirsch instead of Cochleo, which was his original name. And apparently that was pretty common because my father's father, so on my grandfather's mother's father's side, when he came through Ellis Island, they wanted to change Silverstein to Silverstein. And that's the story I heard. They say he wouldn't leave until they made it a B. He was insistent kind of stuff.
Huh.
So it's apparently common that, if they didn't understand how to spell or something, they just make it up whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And if you didn't fix it then, that's it. You were stuck.
Yeah.
Well, in those years, the teacher could change your last name.
they did.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
not
we
legally,
came.
right?
My grandfather came over with the last name of Sarlson,
Yeah.
and when my father started school, it became Suttleson.
But legally, it's still
What? And legally, it was legally.
So how did it change?
It was
to
Drewier, but
well, no, not legal. I mean, legally, no.
legal.
Really, it was,
Really.
but legally, because he was on a false passport, it was.
It was Sarlson on the passport.
How did he actually change it legally to Suttleson?
Yeah, that's a
The teacher did it.
Yeah, but you have a birth certificate.
So
David
his
in
school records.
1907.
They didn't. It wasn't like you had passports. And,
No. Yeah,
Birth
and the
certificates.
teacher did it. It was, whatever they decided, that's what it was.
How'd you clean the kitchen already? My goodness. Bottles in there.
When I was waiting for the tea.
Yeah.
So, but originally my last name was Drewier.
Jeweler.
Drewier.
Jew-